As part of the Summer of Color, the New Mexico Museum of Art invites you to explore the colors of the Southwest through the eyes of artist masters like Gustav Baumann, Victor Higgins, and Georgia O'Keeffe. Take a look.
This exhibition is part of the Santa Fe-wide Summer of Color, and we at the Art Museum didn't feel we could just choose one color, and so we chose to show all colors. And the Southwest is an area that is particularly known for the range of lighting and sun effects that you see, and artists who come here have generally either been very interested in color before they got here, or they come here and are just fall in love with the scenery and the landscape and the qualities of color. And so I should also mention that I'm a fairly new addition to the staff here. I've been here 1 year, and this was my second exhibition. And so when I approached this exhibition, I looked at our racks in storage, at the paintings that we own for this collection, and also at object records, and just really got this sense that color was really important to this collection. I feel like probably half of the artworks in the collection of the Museum of Art could be in this show, and my initial list was 800 paintings, and so from that I culled down to 74 artworks. And so I think that it's just characteristic of the Southwest that there is a love of color, and that color is, you know, one of the really defining characteristics, and that connects all of the artwork. So some of the characteristics of this area, you know, people might think of some of the stereotypical, you know, like turquoise blue, adobe browns. We have very bright sunlight. Sometimes that bleaches out colors, so you actually get very pale colors. You also get very strong contrasts. Fall is one of the favorite seasons here, and you get bright yellow foliage, and you get these dark shadows being cast on the hills and the mountains by the sun late in the day. So there's just this huge range. And when I first approached this exhibition and choosing the work, I had it in my mind that I really wanted a range of subject matter. I wanted to include portraits and still lives, but it ended up being a majority landscape show, and that's just because that is the most beautiful work. So I still have some portraits and some still lifes in here, but overall it's really about the landscape and how beautiful it is, and how much artists who've come here have embraced that and been interested, and artists in a range of styles. So we have everything from very academic realism to all sorts of modernist styles represented. So a lot of the artwork in this show falls broadly into what we could call modernism to one extent or another. And the interesting thing about the connection between colors in the Southwest and modernism is that modernists were very interested in essentials, one of those being color itself. And many of them were interested in color theory. They really read up on it. And while probably the majority of artists in this exhibition were concerned with observed color, we also had groups of modern artists who were interested in what we call non-objective color. So not necessarily what you see, but maybe colors that connect to your emotional experience. So another theme of the exhibition that comes out just because it's such a common subject matter is the relationship between realism and romanticism. And what we see, especially with many of the earlier painters, is this tendency to really closely study from nature, but then to insert scenes of what they imagine Native American culture was like in this sort of romanticized past before their way of life was altered. So one of the really enjoyable things about this exhibition was just getting to know the collection better and finding all kinds of really exciting, interesting works. And this is one of the paintings that I was most thrilled to find, by a painter named Louise Crowe, who was a West Coast artist. And this painting's from about 1919, so we see her participating in modernist art at an era that's pretty early for an American. So it was just incredible to find this painting.